December 15th through Sunday, December 21st. So our last week before Christmas, and we start off on Monday, December 15th with the moon in Scorpio. So there's a lot of planets in water signs, and we know that there's like a grand water trine going on most of the month that's going to make us very emotional, but it can make us very creative, and it can make us super psychic. Okay, so we want to pay attention to feeling. You always hear me saying this because I think that it gets so easily avoided or overlooked or disregarded as who knows, what the watery feeling's trying to tell us, but please take note of it. Now, Mars, the planet of action, is going to leave the fire sign of Sag, and it's going to enter Capricorn, and this is a really good placement for Mars, and this is about discipline and drive and long-term success. So calms down a little bit after leaving the fire sign of Sag. Sag can be all over the place. I'm a Sag. I can say that. We can be a bunch of different, circus tents that we got going on. So we get a little bit more grounded as Mars moves into Capricorn. It's going to stay there till January 23rd. Now, remember, this is a new moon week. So we're heading on the 19th, which is Friday, to a Sagittarius new moon. So Tuesday the 16th, the moon continues in the sign of Scorpio. It'll be opposite Uranus in the later degrees of Taurus. And so there's a lot of emphasis on money, your money, other people's money. It's a good time to get your bills paid, but also to plan for anything, get some money into savings for anything unpredictable. Now, Wednesday the 17th, the moon is in Scorpio until 11:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the moon moves into Sag. Now it's heading towards its new moon. There's going to be 4 planets in Sagittarius at this point. So we've got the sun still in the late degrees of Sag, together with the moon, together with Mars in the early degrees of Capricorn. We've also got Venus still in Sagittarius. So Venus wants to go and have a good time. And Mercury in Sagittarius, and Mercury, you have to be careful about how you use your words, because sometimes Mercury and Sag might regret what it says later. So lots of fire energy going on. And do we have any other planets in fire signs? I don't think so, because those planets are right there on the edge of Pisces. So nothing else. We have Chiron hanging out in Aries, our wound point. But lots of fire in Sagittarius energy there on the 17th. So spicy. So be careful about too spicy, but enjoy the fun. Now, Thursday the 18th, the moon continues in the sign of Sag. It's going to get close to Venus, so enjoy the beauty and harmony on the 18th. As we move into the new moon on December 19th, Friday, this is at 8:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's at 28 degrees of Sagittarius, which we've got some other stuff hanging out at almost 28 degrees. We've got Saturn hanging out at 25 degrees Pisces and Neptune at 29 degrees Pisces. So remember, that's squaring each other. Sag is a mutable sign, Pisces is a mutable sign, and they make a 90-degree angle. So as much as Sag wants to be carefree and it wants to be really optimistic and sometimes not grounded about things, it's squaring the planet of responsibility and then the planet of illusion and delusion. So my advice to you is envision the way you want things to go. Imagine things working out, in that playland of all the things that could happen, and allow, once you see the vision, allow Saturn to bring it to you. Now, this new moon, like I said, is together with Venus, which is a beautiful thing, but it's also very close to Mars. And so the sun and moon are right in between Venus and Mars. So just be careful for confrontation with people. We don't need any of that. Now, the moon enters Capricorn at 11:53 p.m. on Friday, so right after the new moon. A little bit later in the evening, it moves into the grounded sign of Capricorn. And on Saturday, the 20th, it continues in Capricorn. And it's going to be together with Mars, because we know Mars is there in Capricorn. And let's see what else. 12:20, Venus square Saturn. Venus at 25 degrees Sagittarius is an exact square with Saturn, 25 degrees of Pisces. Be wise in love and money. So, anytime we have any form of Neptune, right? Neptune itself or the sign Pisces, we know things could be foggy and we know there's a chance for disillusionment. And so we want to be careful about major purchases or major decisions in love there on Saturday, the 20th. Now, Saturday the 20th is the last day of Sagittarius season, so enjoy the fun as the sun moves into the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is going to push forward winter. There's a lot of oomph involved pushing forward winter. And so stay determined, whatever it is that you're working on, that vision that you might have caught during the Sagittarius new moon, stay determined, stay focused. Look at those goats climbing a tree. I mean, can you believe that they can even do that? That's how determined they are. So the sun enters Capricorn in the morning on Sunday, the 21st. The moon will be opposite Jupiter in the watery sign of Cancer, making everything bigger. And the sun, we talked about that, conjunct Mars and Venus. Okay, so now let's pick a couple cards for this week, the last week before we head into Christmas season, Hanukkah season. I really don't know much about Hanukkah. Remember, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I don't really know much about any of the holidays. So I try to understand what everyone's feeling regarding their holidays, but I really have no clue. I think the only reason that I even have learned anything about holidays is from having a retail store. So bear with me here. I just never adjusted to the holidays. It was just, I always feel like I'm kind of like an onlooker looking in at other people's traditions. And even raising children, I was divorced most of my kids' early years. And so they spent most of their time with their father celebrating in a huge Italian manner. And I would just get a few days off. So, yeah, maybe someday that will change. Maybe someday when I have grandchildren, that'll change. All right, so now let's see what your cards are for the week here. And your first card is the Seven of Pentacles. This is from the Star Tarot, which is so pretty. Thank you, Ginger from Bohemian Gypsy in Florida. You mailed this to me one year as a gift, and it was a really great gift because I had never worked with this deck. I'm not sure how you knew that, but I never had, and it's really beautiful. So Seven of Pentacles, seven to me is about like overcoming obstacles, and Pentacles is anything of value. And so something's building here. Usually Seven of Pentacles almost looks like somebody working on a compost pile. So we know something is building. I love all those horses in the sky. We know we're heading into the fire horse New Year, Chinese New Year. So something of value building, lots of love in the heart, a lot of joy. And it kind of reminds me of what I was saying about getting that vision, because those horses up there just feel like a vision. And so getting clear on what your vision is with that Sagittarius new moon. Sagittarius, you've heard me call the time traveler, and we can get glimpses of things. And once we get that glimpse, then I feel like we can actually work towards it and attain it. So you've got this vision, and now the Pentacles comes in, and we can actually move towards attaining that, especially as Mars moves into Capricorn, the sun moves into Capricorn. Here's the Mary Lude. I'm not familiar with what that is, but it's card number 2, which is the High Priestess. And so we have, it's interesting, she's wearing like this mask. Let's see if the book tells us anything about that, but we know it's watery Cancer energy. with the high priestess showing up. She's ruled by the moon. She trusts feelings. She trusts intuition. She trusts her inner voice. The book says encountering mystery is never an easy process. What is organized by the magus is rooted here by the queen of winter, the physical embodiment of winter, the Mari Lud. She is the high priestess, the bone queen. She threatens to simultaneously tear you into 1,000 pieces while also carrying you across the abyss of mystery and towards the light of spring. The Mari Lud is a Welsh midwinter custom of Buridic battle, where the skull of a horse atop a white robe is animated and carried from house to house and pub to pub. She is paradoxically fabulous and terrifying all at the same time. I love that. She's the divine feminine, terrifying and fabulous. Love it. She stands at a liminal time, and her undead guise, she sings of mystery that was old when the world was new. She carries a child upon her back across the abyss of the mysterious, and in doing so reveals something of its nature. The Mari Lud is a unifying force that binds all opposites together in a way that coalesces their energy into a cohesive whole. She does this from a position of deep feeling and balance. This is a deeply ethereal card that deals primarily with the subtle and often spiritual forces at play in one's life and situation. Okay, I like this. I like the idea of a custom here, a Welsh custom, and I like that it's fabulous and terrifying. And I think our dreams sometimes are fabulous and terrifying. And there's a lot of watery energy going on this month in general, and then with this water card here. And so don't let the fear of your dreams stop you from accomplishing them. You have the candle magic card that says, finger the spine and caress thy lips, light the spell spilling from your grip. Candle magic. So this is also a 2. You got 2 2s and a 7. It looks like a labyrinth there. And it's kind of almost like another custom coming in. Follow your dreams. Follow your intuition, as it's going to be really strong, especially this week.